In this world, is the destiny of mankind controlled by some transcendental entity or law? Is it like the hand of God hovering above? At least it is true that man has no control, even over his own will.
This is the opening quote from the 1997 anime Berserk, an adaptation of the manga Berserk made by Kentaro Miura. This anime, in particular, animates events from volumes 5 to 14, which consist of the Golden Age arc and a little bit before and after that, so this anime doesn't even cover half of the entire story. Berserk is about a man named Guts, who's a traveling swordsman looking to defeat a demon called Femto, who was originally a friend of his named Griffith. Guts goes through a lot of troubles, including encounters with supernatural beings and people who could simply be described as scumbags. When I watched this anime, I was perplexed with the opening of the series. Not the tell me why part that's upbeat, but the part before it, the saying that I mentioned above. That saying contradicted with the actual opening, and from viewing the opening without the saying, you would think that this is some upbeat medieval fantasy anime. Well, as someone who's watched the show, and someone who's read the manga up to volume 41, I can safely say that most of this is true, just with the Golden Age arc of the story. Now, let's go back to the title image. You can see that there's a hand holding a little face thing, which is called a behelit. This thing follows Griffith on his journey to obtain his own kingdom, but the behelit controls him. It's something that decides his destiny. And when the intro says that man has no control over his own will, this is what they mean by that. Griffith's fate is controlled by the supernatural thing that forces him to go on a certain path. So if that's the case, why is the hand holding the behelit? Shouldn't the behelit be holding Griffith's head or destiny or something like that? Well, I don't think that would be an accurate picture. Why? Because Griffith praises the behelit. When he's at his low points, he focuses on the behelit and has it decide what he should do next. He follows it as if that's his god. So the hand in the original picture isn't like a puppet hand, where someone controls someone from up above. This hand is actually more related to someone holding a light up in a dark cave to find the exit. And when a glimmer of light is shown in the distance, you have to go there because there's nowhere else to go. The behelit, in its own way, shows Griffith light and says to him, hey, you gotta do things this way to reach your goals. You can't go the easy route. You can't just go on the most comfortable path. You gotta do it this way, even if it's the most violent. A perfect representation of the initial saying in the opening. So, where does Guts fit into all this? Well, like the behelit is Griffith's guide, Griffith is Guts' behelit. Everything he does is to follow him, no matter if it's to help him in his journey or to take revenge on him. Griffith is almost like Guts' guiding light. Anything he does, Guts follows, and if he's lost or doesn't know what to do, he looks to Griffith for answers, even if it seems like a bad idea. It may seem like Guts and Griffith have a lot of freedom. If they want to raid a town, they can do that. If they want to go after someone, they can do that. If they want to go to war against a nation, they can do that as well. They can just do about anything. But this is all a facade that hides the true source of their goals, an artifact. And when you follow the source of that, you get the God Hand, a group of powerful beings that are looking for a new member. What I like to do is think about how certain anime and manga relate to the real world. And with the saying I mentioned earlier, I think I may have a correlation. Have you ever heard of the saying, everything happens for a reason? I know I have. And for anyone who doesn't know, it's basically saying that every single event, every decision that happens in your life is all because of one greater purpose, and in turn is leading you to a predetermined destination. Now, I'm not a spiritual or religious person, so I don't have a lot of knowledge on that side of the saying, but what I can understand from this saying is that our lives all follow one path. No matter what you do, it will all be because of some predetermined outcome. I understand that karma plays a big role in this as well, with people getting what they deserve, but I personally don't see this saying that way. If some karma was to happen in someone's life, this saying would label that karma predetermined. It has nothing to do with the bad acts that someone committed. It's almost like our lives are storybooks. There are events that are going on in the story, and they happen in a sequence. The reader can know what happens next, or the reader can predict what will happen. But as the characters, we don't know what will happen on the next page. In reality, we play these characters from Berserk. We are just parts of a story that's meant to be played out in a certain way. We can't do anything about it, and we have to leave everything up to destiny, aka the author, aka that higher being. I know it's a weird way of thinking, and trust me, as I'm thinking about this, I realize more that we are just small parts of the universe. In fact, we may just be little beings part of someone's or something's entertainment. In this sense, we literally don't have control over our own destiny or will, like the saying said before. We are Berserk. We are Guts and Griffith. We are little figments of a greater thing. At the end of the day, these are just some thoughts from a random YouTuber. I'm not a reverend or a religious or spiritual person. This is just me relating what I've seen in the story to real life. I believe that everyone should have their own beliefs, and they shouldn't be conformed into believing something they don't. So, if you agree with everything I said about Berserk, cool. If not, that's totally okay. You may believe something different. I would love to hear your perspective on Berserk, so drop your thoughts in the comments if you want. Apart from all that, Berserk is an absolutely great series, and I think everyone should read it. What's my rating on it? Obviously a 10 out of 10, but only for the manga. For the 1997 anime, I'll give it an 8 out of 10. Great animation, but does leave out a lot of material from the manga, and you definitely won't get the full Berserk experience with that. As for the movie trilogy, I'll rate this a 6 out of 10. I think they're worth the watch if you have the time, but they only cover the same content that the 1997 anime covers, except it includes some more content, but leaves out a whole lot more. And with the 2016 Berserk adaptation, this series covers events after the Golden Age arc, and to be honest, I saw a few minutes of the show and dropped in immediately. I don't know what they were thinking with the animation, and what pisses me off is that the animation of the first opening is so good, but the animation in the actual show just falls short. If they animated the series in the same style as the opening, it would be really good. I'm not going to give this show a rating because I feel like I haven't watched enough of it to give it a rating. On another note, for anyone who hasn't viewed Berserk, and for anyone who may be young, this series has a lot of mature content. Dark Horse, the publisher, rates it 18+, and I will say that's pretty appropriate for a story like this. So just be careful when viewing it. That's going to be it for this video. What did you think of it? Did you like it? Did you not? Let me know. But if you did enjoy the video, please make sure to give it a like, and if you want to see more content like this, feel free to subscribe. And with that, I'll see you all in the next one.